ready because this conversation is one that should allow for you and I to engage, in matters that concern the Nigeria political, social-political, economy ecosystem, right? My name is Udwak Daniel, and yes, there's been quite a number of things going on. I mean, the drill that's been up with Yahya Bello, who happens to be the former governor of Kogi State, who is facing serious allegations, and of course he has been accused of misappropriating a whopping 80.2 billion naira, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has been all about prosecuting him alongside his nephew Ali Bello, Doda Suleiman, and Abdul Salam Hudu on a 19-count charge bordering on money laundering. But the latest development in the case is that the Court of Appeal has ordered Bello to appear before Justice Emeka Nwekte of the Federal High Court, Maitama Abuja, for arraignment, and that actually comes after Bello attempts to evade, arrest and prosecution on countless times. Now, the court has made it clear that Bello's applications will not be entertained until he appears for arraignments. It is also worth noting that Bello has been facing numerous allegations of corruptions and mismanagement during his tenure as governor. And these, also include diverting state funds. Diverting, that's what I need you to put at the back of your mind right now. Diverting state funds, awarding contracts without due process, and money laundering. Now, the EFCC as well, on the sidelines, has been investigating these allegations, and it's quite clear that they are taking this case very, very seriously. And remember, if you recall, the last time that we had this conversation on the Yahya Bello case and all of that, one of the things that I mentioned very clearly and distinctly and succinctly was the fact that, hey, this might not just be the only case that might begin to dance its way into the EFCC's bright eagle's eyes, right? And just recently as well, we have seen yet another case where the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arrested Ifeanyi Okowa, the former governor of Delta State, over alleged diversion, yes, of 1.3 trillion naira from the 13% derivation fund meant for oil-producing states. Now, Okowa was also taken into, custody at the EFCC's Port Harcourt, division after responding to an invitation from the investigators handling the case. Well, allegations against Okowa range from accused alleged diverting of 1.3 trillion naira in 13% derivation funds, from the federal account between 2015 and 2023. So between 2015 and 2023, let's see, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 8 years. Oh my goodness, right? But he allegedly used this office again to loot and acquire assets, including massive shares in UTM Floating Liquefied Natural Gas Company, among other investments in the oil sector. Additionally, though, Okowa also is suspected of investing 40 billion naira in one of Nigeria's major banks to secure an 8% equity stake in an offshore LNG project, but the funds were allegedly redirected for unrelated purposes, right? So Okowa is currently being held at the EFCC holding facility in Port Harcourt as investigations, still ongoing. I mean, the EFCC spokesman, Dele Oyewale, has confirmed Okowa's detention, to news agencies. I mean, so that's just what it is. But just giving you a little bit of background, Okowa served as Delta State's governor from 2015 to 2019 and was the vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 elections. Now, this arrest is somewhat part of the EFCC's efforts to promote transparency and accountability in Nigeria's, public finance management space. And to think that we saw about, is it 19 governors now who have rallied their way around taking the EFCC in court right there to court and saying, hey, EFCC should be scrapped, should be taken off, or EFCC has not conformed with the very laws that put it together in a time like this. Well, you said it was not wise. You made it clear that, look, hey, regardless of whatever it may be, even though there might be some suspected thoughts and cases of bribery and corruption and looting as well, or basically bribery and corruption within the EFCC, especially with the higher ranks, it will still be unwise to want to outrightly scrap that organization. And then you might as well want to consider the place of certain candidates, with whom that we put out for, as people that we feel should represent us. I mean, to think that Okowa in 2023 was a vice presidential candidate at the time, would it be to the Atiku Abubakar at the time, vying for the number one seat, opposition at the time, was very vibrant in that. I mean, some would also say that, well, he had also had giant strides. He had brought about developmental strides, in the states where he was, of course, governor, right? If I'm not mistaken now, would that be? Yeah, so yeah, that's it. So that's the point. These people are still the same people who quite a number of persons believe that we are totally recycling, into places of authority. And the question, still holds that do we not have people that we can indeed count on and count in to the governmental affairs, developmental affairs, to see to it that the society is indeed cleansed of the ridicules that has been making the front banner of information or news coming from Nigeria, especially to the diaspora? Do we not have credible people who are very, very people-oriented and talking about development and making things happen? And to think that these same people, whenever they're in office, they have the immunity clause, shielding them, so to speak, from certain investigations or pertinently arrests and all of that. And the number of persons are saying that, look, maybe it's high time we begun to remove the immunity clause. Maybe when we do so, we would discover, or these governors, these ministers who are beginning to feel as though they are the highs and the mighty, will understand that, look, you are like every other person. Because indeed they are like you and I. It's just as a result of the responsibility that we have given them to shoulder on our behalf, which quite a number of us are seeing the reality. Some of them, if not most of them, are not living up to expectation, as most of them still see themselves now as demigods, and would not indeed swayed or given to the yearnings of the people that they govern. But let's also look, it takes us to the topical issue of the EFCC arresting former Delta Governor Ifeanyi Okowa over alleged 1.3 trillion naira fraud. Alleged, please, we have to put it out there. I mean, Okowa was detained at the EFCC office in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, and after responding to an invitation from investigators probing the allegations. Now, the EFCC spokesperson Dele Oyewale had said that he confirmed that, in fact, said he is with us. What are the figures? 1.3 trillion naira. Alleged diversion of 13% derivation funds, 40 billion naira. Alleged misappropriation of shares in UTM floating liquefied natural gas, 13% derivation fund from the Federation account, and between 2015 to 2023, that was the period of alleged diversion. Right now, I was having a connect with a Delta State resident who said, "I'm concerned about the alleged mismanagement of funds meant for our state's development. We need transparency and accountability to ensure our resources benefit our communities." I had to follow that, word for word the way this young man actually put it. But if you also to look at the context and analysis, you might as well want to ascertain and discover that this is probably not the first time that we're seeing these issues. Remember the Ibori case, right? The Ibori case is one, of course, that we could look into. And most of the time, it always has the same language: misappropriation, diversion, looting. What else is there that they use? It's almost like what we have in terms of insecurity today, where we have unknown gunmen, we have masked faces, unknown... there's just different terms, for terrorism at this point in time. And is there a definite way of categorizing all of these persons and putting them under one banner and treating the issue as it were, so that there is no misconceptions, no misunderstanding? There is no issues of having one law court issue one statement of verdict and another law court contradicting what the other one had said. Well, a good thing, I think the AGF had also said it was going to look into matters that concern, judgments, in Rivers State. I mean, if you ask me, as quite a number of you are also saying, that look, some of the issues that we face is as a result of different judgments here and there, flying left, right, and center, up and down. And then Nigerians are afraid, as saying that we hope that this will not be another, misplacement of judgment or variation of judgment, because we saw that with the Yaya Bello case, and now Okowa is in EFCC's custody. What exactly is going on? Is this also a case of witch hunt? Is this a case of going after those with whom you contested with? Some are saying that maybe that is an agenda that is being followed. But others are saying that maybe it's high time that the EFCC begun to not just dig, to take out not just the Yaya Bello's case, which is still alleged, because, there's not a verdict yet, and look into some of the governors. But if you do so, the fear is that we might continue to look into these governors, and like they say, wahala no they finish. Like they say, you will explain tire. Like they say, you will keep talking and investigating, and then you'll keep finding the cankerworms, the misdeeds of these people. How is this eaten so deeply into the very treasury of their respective states, one way or the other? And the people who will be named, in the process of being beneficiaries of these stolen funds, of these alleged stolen funds, of these alleged misappropriation, of these alleged diversions, would indeed keep you in shock, totally in shock. And hence others are beginning to call for a review of the Constitution as a way forward, as a panacea, as a means for us to ending the somewhat unending, journey of corruption and its accomplices. Well, I've got with me, joining via a phone call now, our guest, Barrister Ahmed Tanimu Abubakar. Now, who is this barrister? He is a public affairs analyst, is a human rights activist, and a lawyer who's based in Abuja. Barrister, good morning and welcome to the Prog Show this morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. It's always a delight to be on your wonderful show.
Right, refreshing moments, Barrister. And just to also let you in on the fact that I know you're a conversant. As that yesterday was when the story somewhat dropped, where, of course, we saw that a former Delta State Governor, Ifeanyi Okowa, has been obtained. I'd like to use that word, for want of a better word, obtained by the EFCC, or somewhat detained or in the custody of the EFCC at this point in time for an alleged alleged diversion is the the word right there, of 1.3 trillion naira. 1.3 trillion naira in 13% derivation fund from the Federation account between 2015 and 2023. And if we're to look at the numbers, it didn't just stop there. There's yet another that happens to be about a 40 billion naira alleged misappropriation for shares in UTME floating, liquefied natural gas. And I mean, I don't know. When we look at this case and we look at the Yaya Bello case, it is also it's also the same language, same rhetoric every time. Alleged misappropriation and all of that. I'd like to ask you, first of all, do you think this is an agenda? One. Secondly, would you say that it's a wake-up call and that we should continue to, go after, some of these past governors and ministers and all of that, if we have to redeem the country? And finally, in my, question would be, do we really have a straight word for all of the misappropriation of financial misdeeds, all of the alleged diversion, all of the alleged lootings and all of that? Do we have a place in the Constitution that says it's stealing so that it could be prosecuted, the way it should be?
Okay, thank you for your question. I want to
Okay, well, still trying to get with him right now. I think we've gotten back a connection. Hello, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, yes.
EFCC are statutorily empowered to oversee the.
All right, well, we will try to connect with you just a little bit more, but keep in mind that this is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, and yes, we give you an audio-visual radio experience that you can count on anytime, any day. We say this on strong authority because you gave us the bragging right, and we do not take this for granted at any point in time, right? Well, the conversation is still about, the arrest, or rather the invitation from the EFCC to, of course, that would be who now? Yeah, that would be the former Delta State governor, right? In the person of Okowa, right? And what are your thoughts about it? I mean, already there's quite a lot going on in this regard, and others are saying that, well, maybe it's about that time we began to do justice to the situation. But if you also look at it, it's not the first time. There's been similar cases of, EFCC's efforts, aiming towards promoting accountability and transparency. I mean, James Ibori conviction for corruption in 2012 is one historical context. That's what I'm saying now. Of course, the Diziani Alison Madueke, case is yet another one of alleged corruption, charges. Well, let's get back with you, Barrister Ametanimo. Are you there?
I'm here.
All right,
so,
talk to us.
As I was saying, I will take all the questions in one swoop.
All right, very well.
The EFCC are mandated by the Enabling Establishment Act to oversee the affairs of preventing financial crimes. They equally have the power to prosecute after conducting a thorough investigation.
Right.
So what happened yesterday is a routine exercise. Governor Okowa was invited to come and account for the allegation that has been leveled against him. As we all know, if any security agency invites a suspect, he is expected to write his statement under oath, especially if we look at the gravity of the allegation against him. In this case, being a suspect, his statement was taken under oath, and that is why he will be arrested until he has gotten surety, people that will bail him, so that further investigation can continue.
Right.
They equally have the option of obtaining valid court order, so that if the statutory period required for the investigation to be concluded is not met, the court can give the authority orders to detain him for as long as is required. For you start to ordinarily he should be taken to court within 2 days. But the law equally empowers the statutory agency as the EFCC to equally detain him for a longer period to enable and allow for investigation. So it's not unusual for a governor or any suspect to be arrested and investigated. That being said, the question that we should all come to our mind is why this is now a tradition for most former governors to be arrested. There's nothing different between what is happening now with the Abelu's case. The Abelu has been invited, he has refused to honor the invitation, but Okowa has honored the invitations. What will play out is that he will be granted administrative bail. Investigation will be concluded and will be eventually taken to court to give account of what he stewardship in office. The fact remains the same, that the country is bleeding and we are losing millions and trillions of naira on account of the recklessness of some of our leaders. These anti-graft agencies, over time, they've gone to sleep. We have been clamoring for proactive approach rather than reactionary step. The issue of corruption, we need to be more proactive. We need to set in measures to prevent the occurrence of such actions. Basically, you ask yourself, where were this money, the alleged money, where were they taken from? These are from statutory allocations, from internally generated revenue. Because there is no check and balances. The state houses of assembly, they have reduced themselves into rubber stamp. We know that governors have immunity, but they are not immune from questioning by the various state of assembly. But in a situation where you have governors pocketing the various state house of assembly, they practically are allowed unlimited opportunities of doing whatever financial needs features that they want to do because nobody is checking them.
Right.
Then equally, we have our regulatory regulators in the financial sector like the CBN, the NIFU, the NDIC, and so many other financial reporting councils. They have various bodies that are supposed to safeguard the safety of our funds. But equally, if you look at it, I will only tell you that a lot of them too, they've gone to sleep, whereby they are not being proactive. I want to give you an example. Personally, I've written petitions against some state government to the regulators, the CBN in particular, telling them that these loans some state government are about availing, they are yet to get clearance from the Debt Management Office, from the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, because there is certain limitation to an amount of which state government can assess. But you discover that they are not interested in even evaluating the purposes for which such loans are being used. If it is your duty to release funds, it's equally your duty to ask questions. How are those funds being utilized? There's nothing limiting you from asking even. We know that there is separation of power, but you should be able to give account to the resources that are being released to the various states over time, and even till this moment, that has not been done. We know how state governments use joint accounts with local governments to divert resources and to do other things. You equally have state governors. I'm making a general remark now because it relates to other states. Budgetary proposal, budgetary approval are not being complied with. At the national level, you have the accountant general, the auditor general. How far have they gone in ensuring that budgets are being implemented according to the approval? Then at the state level, all these things are missing, and this is why the governors, they have unlimited powers to do whatever they like when they are in power. So, and then I would not want to deny the fact that with the rate at which this thing is becoming prevalent, the judiciary, they are overburdened. If you go to court, you have so many corruption cases lingering for years, and they are overwhelmed. We should be proactive. We should prevent the occurrence rather than fighting the aftermath. It is more costlier and you will not even recoup most of the items that have been looted.
Right.
So for the EFCC, I encourage them to do more. For the government of the day, I encourage them at the federal level to ensure that various state houses of assembly are empowered. Part of the constitutional amendment that we've all clamored for is that on issue of corruption, we should deviate from the norm, which is inquisitorial. You are presumed to be innocent until you are proven guilty. We should now use the acquisitorial method, whereby you are presumed to be guilty, especially if you are living beyond your means, if monies in your custody, in your control cannot be adequately accounted for. The body should now be shifted to you, not to the prosecuting or to the agency responsible for fighting financial crime. Rather, it should be the governors and the government now to come and give account on monies released. If you are talking of 1 trillion naira, we should know what was the money meant for. Has it been judicially been utilized for the purpose it was released? What are the verifiable, tangible projects that the monies were used for? The processes, the systems, and of the release and utilization should all be thoroughly analyzed and should be made visible. Everybody should be able to check and know that yes, certain amount of money were released and it was used for a particular purpose. If that is not done, then you know that they have a day in court to come and give account. So we will not clamor, we will not, the FCC, they've not done anything remarkable. They are only doing what they are being paid, what they are established to do. But in my mind, I believe that a proactive approach would have been the best. The Commissioner of Finance, various offices in the state that are saddled with the responsibility of administering such funds, they are not immune. At the earliest point, they should have been invited, they should have been questioned, measures should be set in place, in motion, to see that there should be judicious utilization of funds. If there is judicial utilization of funds, the incidences of corruption will be minimized. Now we are talking about recovery. We all know what it entails. 1 trillion naira as at last year, the value in terms of when you look at the inflationary trend and the depreciation, it has reduced in value. So we shouldn't have allowed it in the first instance. But now that he's been arrested, we urge the EFCC to be surgical in their approach. Right. They should do a holistic investigation, invite all others that are related to it, and then they should ensure that the matter is prosecuted expeditiously. Right. So that we should not have governors and former governors accounting for their misdeeds while they are in office.
Yeah, Barrister, let me come. I mean, in there. I mean, some Nigerians are beginning to raise several concerns and questions, regarding, the Yahya Bello and Okowa cases, especially with the handling of these cases by the EFCC, particularly in terms of arrest, detention, and prosecution. I mean, many are questioning whether the EFCC is applying selective justice, targeting specific individuals or groups while ignoring others accused of similar crimes, right? And it goes back to the place of motivation. Is it some Nigerians are wondering if the EFCC's actions are driven by political motivations, targeting individuals perceived as threats to certain interests or factions within the ruling party. And then you might as well want to consider the place of what you might want to consider the place of the aftermath of it all. Where are we going to with this? How does it really end? Right, is the question. And you mentioned something about recovery, how tough recovery, processes can be. But then, should we now stand abreast and say that, with all that is going on, we can say that there will be some positive change coming aboard? And you didn't quite give me the answer to the question where I said, do we have stealing to cover for misappropriation financial diversion and all of that? Do we have it as a straight law in the Constitution in prosecuting matters that concern, at this high level?
Yes, for the last question, we have it. Our penal code, our criminal code, they all have relevant portion that deals with financial crime, competition, management of public funds. Then the EFCC Act, in the ICPC Act, and various laws. There are a lot of legal laws are not in we don't have shortage of laws to curb financial crime. The issue is the implementation and the procedure. The processes of prosecuting financial crime is cumbersome. Then they might have leeway. We have long litigation. We have the issue of placing the burden of proving that a particular person is corrupt and the prosecutor. Where we are clamoring and advocating that our constitution should be amended specifically. That issue of fundamental rights should now be limited and restricted to the extent that when we are dealing with financial crime, the burden of proof will be on the suspect. They should come and tell, as a public officer, they should come and tell the court that certain amounts of monies were released to them. How did they use the money judiciously? And the issue of being selective.
But Barrister, before you go ahead with that, let's just go take a breather, pay some bills. We'll be right back, and you can have your say in that regard, right? This is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Don't go away. And when we come back, of course, it will be us opening the phone lines and having to hear from you expressly.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja. Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Wow, this feature phone is so good.
Which phone is that?
It is the Itel IT5627. It comes with a 2500 mAh battery, which gives you 55 hours of standby use. Type-C charger, triple SIM slot, 3.0-inch screen, plus a 24 months warranty of worry-free use.
Huh? 24 months warranty?
Yes! Go and get yours. Itel IT5627. New Itel, new experience.
Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, here to stay.
Have you heard of the latest car maintenance, overhaul and repair service center in Abuja?
Oh, wait a minute.
BB Empire Motor Services Limited is the place. We offer a wide range of services which include full engine repair, brakes and discs, lubrication, industrial spare parts fabrication, digital diagnosing, injector and rotor servicing, wheel balancing alignment, vulcanizing, spare parts of all cars, car checker, recovery of vehicles, AC servicing and repairs of all kinds of cars. You can visit us today at a state-of-the-art multi-digital workshop located at plot 1374 Cadastral Zone C16 along Julius Berger Road, Idu Industrial District, Abuja. You can also call us on 080-6433-3100 or 090-1066-0869. BB Empire Motor Services Limited, the solution for your car needs and services.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
My people, the thing where they happen for my area, eh?
Do you think I will now find out that you have contract to bring fresh girls?
I brought you from the gutters. Who gave you all the connects? MDG who? Without me, you would have been nobody. But
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking, MICAT, on our Wish I Knew radio drama every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let us join hands and kick human trafficking out of our communities. I Wish I Knew radio drama, brought to you by MICAT in partnership with the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and funded by the Embassy of Denmark in Nigeria.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
I suppose it was inevitable.
Eagles 102.3.
If you're just tuning in, this is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, where we talk politics and current affairs. And yes, we give you an audio-visual radio experience that you can count on any time in a day. To have a visual representation of what you hear via your radio right about now, you should get on to the YouTube channel, do well to subscribe at Eagles FM Abuja, and do same with the Facebook page wall at Eagles FM Abuja, and follow across every other social media platforms at Eagles FM Abuja. We're still talking the EFCC arresting former Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa over alleged 1.3 trillion naira fraud, and our guest, still remained Barrister Ahmed, Tanimo Abubakar. He's a public affairs analyst, human rights activist, and lawyer based in Abuja. Let's hand down the numbers to you right there so you two can give us your 2 cents. Remember that you've got to be civil and responsible with your thoughts so that we can have a justified conversation. 0907 353 0044 is that number to call. The other number would be 0908 766-8888, and the WhatsApp portal number is 0909-705-4450. Taking this call. Hello and good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning to you, Elder.
Elder Noja is my name.
Yes, where are you calling from?
All right,
here. Awesome. Elder, let's go straight to it.
You see, the first man is coming to be my vice president in this country. Only one state. You see what a lazy is that he took out. What if he become the vice president of Nigeria? The thing will be worse. I don't know whether these politicians, I don't know whether they are Christian or Muslim. I don't know whether they are going to church or going to mosque. At least, in conscience, supposed to challenge it. The money where they bring, Niger Delta Development. Well, so that's why you see problem in that place, because the money they are giving to the leader. It's not utilized, that's why problem continues in that place. Go to Niger Delta and see road there. There's no road, there's no drinking water, nothing. And then they are giving this money to the leader, and then they refuse to use it. Whether it's true or not, just unless. We see the money where somebody is coming to country to be a vice president of the country. The money where it looks from only one state. What of if it comes to federation? That means they go sell the whole of Nigeria, and they carry the money, do what they want to do. And then two, about of Yaya Bello. Yaya Bello case is different. Yaya Bello alleged, it's not confirmed. He's hiding in the back of one first lady, and then they went to do plea bargaining, and then that's why you see EFCC that day. Sign some document there. EFCC come and say they are looking for him this and this. He went that place and they signed some document. More time you go here say plea bargaining. What he went to give to government, he give to government, he go. That's why they are just playing the issue in court. There's no way we are able to do now. What of if there's someone, if there's someone governor of Kogi State, he come. If his school advisor can take governor of Kogi State to present today, he's going to present it.
Okay.
It's not so they can declare Kogi State a state of emergency.
All right.
So
all right,
we know what the Yaya Bello case is different. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Elder Naja, giving us 2 cents right there. But yes, we should just go on a very short breather. I see your calls coming through. Don't worry. It's all about you today, this morning. And we will indeed be right back. Don't go away.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Please listen to this infomercial.
Hello, Nigeria. Hello, Africa. Do you want to work in the healthcare sector? Do you want to be a trained, certified nursing assistant, medical assistant, or caregiver? If yes, then register to enroll for Push Africa's 1-year diploma in certified nursing assistant training happening at the African University College of Science and Technology, Abuja. Targeted trainees are unemployed graduates, O-level or ordinary diploma graduates, or anyone interested in working as a support worker in the healthcare sector. For details, log on to www.pushafrica.org or WhatsApp 080-339-42015, 080-550-45801. For registration, pick up application form at our partner radio stations or visit the reception at the African University of Science and Technology, Abuja.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Still taking reactions right now and heralding the conversation, in the light of the discourse this morning. Well, Barrister, you there?
I'm here with you.
Understood. It's been a long wait. But Barrister, what do you think Nigerians will be expecting? From this, invitation, and of course, in matters that border on issues like this, especially coming from the EFCC.
Yes, we are expecting much, but at the end we will get little. Because over time we've seen where convicted corrupt governors were pardoned, some escaped from prison, and nobody is saying anything about it. So for me, and a lot of us, we did not see anything new coming out from it, but we still have hope, because that's the only thing left for us. We believe that things can change, and Okowa's case should not be any different. If he's found guilty, he should be in prison so as to serve as a deterrent to others. Over time, we have failed woefully in sending that very strong message that all will be corrupt governors, that the day of with barrage of cases of corruption, they are still struggling to become president. We should abhor corruption. People should be angry about corruption because of the election of past leaders, and we have a lot of them till this moment. So Nigeria can never get right until all of us are angry as we are. When we talk of the issue of religion, and you see people going haywire, but when it comes to the issue of corruption, everybody is just waiting for his opportunity to get to that same position and do the exact thing.
All right, let me put a peg to your thoughts. Let's take this call. Hello and good morning. Hello. Hello. Oh, come on. She's not ready. I think that's BB blasting. But anyways, the conversation is still trending here. You want to join your voice and add your voice and give your thoughts and let us into whether or not you think the temperature that is ongoing between the EFCC, haven't had not Yahya Bello this time, the former governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, invited and all, would it indeed, find its base at the end and bring to success or bring to limelight some of the hidden things that we do not know, and bring justice, especially being the aftermath, the end result of all of the charade, all of this parade, rather, if you like. But let's go take this one. Hello and good morning. Hello, good morning to you. Yes, BB, welcome aboard.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
How you doing?
Very well, BB. Thank you so much. Where are you calling from?
Oh, my name is BB Bless. I'm calling from Otako.
Awesome, BB. Talk to us.
Our guest already. We are talking about Yahya Bello.
Not really. We're not talking about Yahya Bello. We're talking about Ifeanyi Okowa, former Delta State governor. Yes.
Okay. You know, law cannot hold them. Now they get government.
Okay.
Whether na government get them or whether na they get government, we don't even know they are for our country, Nigeria. Because I know say no go feel hold them because now they still there for the government. Even though when they come out, even though EFCC day after them, they will still release them because now the money cost people they want. After they don't finish their money, they go put the way they belong to. See, forget what Nigeria they are doing. Forget what our government they are doing. No, they hold for them. Now, come on, I love the hold for. Please, then we talk another thing what will make Nigeria they happy.
All right.
See, price of oil don't increase. Price of motor don't increase. Then we talk what the issue where they teach Nigeria. Forget about this Nigeria matter.
Okay, BB. Thank you, BB. I appreciate that one from you. Well, the BB says there are better things to talk about. Talking about issues of former governors and ministers and all of that being arrested or called in for questioning might not just be, what we need at this point in time. But let's go hear what Samuel from Kuje has to say. He says, I sincerely apologize. Okay, all right, Samuel, it's okay. During the newspaper, yeah, I get that. Well, he says on this issue, EFCC on this issue of EFCC and the way they carry out their work. They're doing well, but sometimes it seems like they're selective in the way and manner they go about their work. They should know that they are not meant to serve the interest of any ruling party. They should be all-inclusive. They should not be selective. The eagle's eyes should not be looking with one side of the eye, but with both eyes, please, he says. Have a great day, UD. Have a great day to you too, Samuel. And let's see this message too, coming from Abbas all the way from Dutse. It says, adding my voice to Okowa corruption by former governors and all, until our anti-graft agencies go beyond just arresting these governors, move forward to apprehend those in the financial sector facilitating high levels of financial crimes through their institutions, we will never get results. People looting Nigerian money are not doing it in isolation, but in connivance, I think, with top bank MDs. So let the EFCC beam a hammer on these people, or it will just be an arrest for plea bargaining without persecution. Abbas saying right there. Well, we'll take this call and then we get back with you, Barrister. Hello and good morning.
Hello, good morning, Daniel.
Yes, good morning to you, please. Bless you more.
And good morning to your guest.
Right. What is your name? Tekenbi. All right, awesome.
Yes.
Welcome. Talk to us,
yes,
Tekenbi.
I want to say that just like I've said, is an allegation, and I've seen in the past where EFCC come out to say this what this person is alleged to have been siphoned, and at the end of the day, even some of the charges they will take to court, they will keep amending it. Sometimes they might take out to 20 charges and they will amend it to only 2, and even the monies they will keep coming down. And I believe as time goes on, if Mr. Okowa will not go into plea again, eventually that amount of money, you will see it coming down, as the case may be. But one thing I don't like is selective investigation and prosecution.
Okay.
I can see, you can take my word to the bank, Mr. Daniel, that there is no former governor that, if properly investigated, will not find one thing in one way or the other to have helped themselves with the public fund. But one thing is that there is election. For example, now people like former governor of Zamfara State and now defense minister Matawale, and people like Wike. If we investigate them, you will see monies that has been siphoned under their government. But last thing I want to say one thing, that I have problem with the state assembly who are supposed to check their governors. Because at the end of the day, those guys who are supposed to check them, to stop them from siphoning some of those money, they will pocket them and they will keep giving them bribes. Because the money that the governor is alleged to have siphoned, the state assembly, they are aware of it. And some of them have benefited from it as well. So if we have people at the same level, who are lawmakers, that will check their governors, such things will be reduced to the barest minimum. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I can be right there. Well, Barrister, you heard, family members, give their quota on this very one. What will be your thoughts? I mean, there's been talks that range from what it will be the aftermath in the end of all of these. Where are we going with it? Do we indeed see a prosecution? Do we see a verdict and all of that? Does it follow through? And others are still coming from the place of what about those to wake up? Well, you also made mention of that too, and said, all of these other agencies that should wake up to their responsibilities and all. Isn't this a problem already? And how do we even come out of this, as you give your final thoughts?
Okay, I agree with most of the callers. I believe the EFCC need to do more. I believe it's not about being selective, but the effect is not being felt. We've seen instances of those absconding. Are you trying to say that we don't have any federal might, that a former governor cannot be arrested to come and face his day in court? The government should do more. They should do more because we know the problem Nigeria is facing at the moment. Right. The current hardship and difficulty in the economy and in the country generally, it has a direct impact and effect from the humongous nature of the volume of corruption that is going on across board. We need to sanitize the system. We need to prevent and address the issue of wastages, income leakages, wanton corruption, and for us to achieve that, Nigerians collectively, we should be angry at the way things are going. It's not only waiting for the EFCC to come on media to inform us of the steps they are being taken. We should hold them accountable. We should hold government accountable. We should hold government at all levels, from the local government, from the state government, those House of Assembly members, the senators, the House of Rep members. They were all elected. We have the powers to recall those that are not serving our interests if they are found to be corrupt. Until we are angry with the corruption that is going on, until we are angry and we refuse to accept the fact that Nigeria is not a poor country, but our leaders have made us to be in perpetual penury, until we realize, until we give the issue of governance the same attention we give the issue of religion, the attention it deserves, we will not make any progress and things will continue to go bad. So for the EFCC, is an encouragement. We are encouraging them to do more. We don't want this investigation to end in the media. We don't want this investigation to end the way Abelo's case has gone. We want to see action. We want a diligent prosecution after the investigation is completed. And we call on the government, and we should be mindful that we have the powers to effect change. And until we take deliberate action, nobody is talking about amending the constitution. Nobody is talking about amending the Electoral Act. Nobody is talking about the appointment of judges. Nobody is talking about the recruitment of officers into the anti-graft agencies. Until we go to the root cause, we cannot be using cosmetic approach, addressing the issues, addressing the aftermath. Until we go to the fundamental basis why the country is the way it is, and corruption happens to play a very significant role in that. We will not be heading anywhere.
Yeah, but I quite agree. You've spoken, comprehensive wisdom, but some Nigerians still would also come from the place of the fact that the general masses or the average Nigerian is in loss, especially looking at the issue that happened with minors. I mean, that would have been what we should have had a conversation on today. But of course, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had stepped into it, saying that, hey, that case should be withdrawn and everything. There should be welfareism for those, these minors and all of that. And there should be a probe of those who participated in that, nefarious, incident, as well as we saw Falana too coming out saying that, well, there should be due compensation. Well, that's just on the one part. The other part, of course, Nigerians are saying that, look, if we could have a former CJN or Justice Walter Onogen, being charged somewhat removed from office inappropriately, as the bank accounts frozen and all of that, and after how many years now is now that they are there's been some justice, some reworking, looking into the case file and saying, okay, sorry about what happened and all of that. In fact, it is said that the federal government has decided that they have a settlement of outside the court and all of that. Do you think that we even indeed can really fight this corruption that is ongoing? Well, maybe that would be a question or an answer you would give, at some other time when we have a conversation again. But let me drive this question, this very thought line in. I mean, it came, in a bit early. Good morning, UD and your guest. On governors being persecuted for corruption, to me, the solution to ending corruption at the state level is to remove the immunity clause for the governors in the Constitution. The state government should have a guideline for expenditure. Items of expenditure must be stated clearly so as to limit discretion of the governors in spending public funds. Security votes should be abolished. The number of aides they can appoint should be limited also. Security votes for governors should be abolished. The governors should be forced to rely on IGR for their revenue, and they must be prevented from accessing foreign or local loans. I also urge Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit should have a little oversight over state finances. This should be backed by law. However, the citizens should not leave the checks to the EFCC and ICPC alone. Citizens should also report corruption, and he says, have a nice day. This is Suf from Wuse too. Well, this is where we draw the curtains, right? You are a public affairs analyst, a human rights activist, and lawyer based in Abuja, and your name is Barrister Ahmed Tanimu Abubakar. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Always a delight. And I completely agree with all your suggestions that you read out.
Right. Okay, thank you so much, Joe. Have a great day ahead. Right, and to each and every one of you that have also joined the conversation this morning, thank you. Far too kind. Tomorrow is yet another day, 9 o'clock. Don't miss out on that time. And be politically conscious and security conscious and aware too as well. Have a great day.
No offense to the commercials. It's just that we want to